A lot of people think that if you write a novel, it's about you. In fact, it's very seldom about you. It's usually about some experience that you have, but that you bring to the novel in terms of another character's story.
I grew up in central Alberta, in the heart of the parkland area, which is kind of between the boreal forest and the prairies, and it's the most idyllic region of the province.
Sometimes if you start at the end and look backward, you get a much better perspective on how you arrived where you did.
I think the way that I became a writer was I read and read and read. I went to university because I loved books and I wanted to further my education. In university I took English so I could read and read and read and pretend I was doing homework. It was a good combo.
Her love of literature led her to the University of Alberta's Department of English, where her professors and mentors included respected Canadian writers such as Rudy Wiebe, Douglas Barber, Marian Engel, Bert Allman, and Robert Croce.
Tonight was a really great night. It was really interesting to hear Aritha's story. I think her passion for words and storytelling was very apparent.
From her earliest age, she was intrigued with words. She wanted to learn to read and she loved books, and this became her passion, and no wonder she became such a prolific writer because she read and she loved books so much.
Aritha's first published novel was Judith, which earned the Seal First Book Award and signaled the arrival of a distinctly Albertan voice that resonated with insight, wit, and creativity.
What inspired me to write was because in all of the books that I read, and I read and read and read and read, I was the most outrageously bookwormish kid you ever saw, was that I never saw any stories about kids from Canada.
When she discovered Anne of Green Gables, Aritha found something familiar in the red-headed heroine with a talent for mischief. She sounds familiar to me too.
So when I finally ran into Anne of Green Gables, who lived in PEI all the way across the country, it was a revelation to me.
She told herself, if someone can write about PEI, then I can write about Alberta. And she began to capture her word on paper.
Well, for sure I'm going to buy her book, Maverick, The History of Alberta. I can't wait to read that because I love history.
When you have worked as hard as you can to support what you believe in, people in this province will almost always recognize it. And that's one of the reasons I love Alberta.
Aritha followed up with The Tent Peg in 1981 and No Fixed Address, An Amorous Journey in 1986, which garnered the Howard O'Hagan Prize along with a nomination for the Governor-General's Award for Fiction. In 1986, she was also named one of Best Canadian Fiction Writers Under 45.
My career as a writer is mostly, I think, about stick-to-itiveness and never being discouraged, never giving up. A good writer is usually someone who has read a lot, but who cares passionately about her subject, someone who is really intrigued by a story and who cares about a story. You need to have a good story and you need to tell a story that other people want to hear. So it's that combination of skill, of content, and of having the determination never to stop pursuing it and producing it.
I'm really appreciative of having the opportunity to come and learn from these passionate Canadian women. I'm really proud and happy to have been involved with the speaker series for 2 years. It is a really great opportunity for women to come together, and every story, every speaker that we've had, in my experience for the last 2 years, has each person has brought their own story, and every speaker has been very inspiring.